Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful young girl named Cinderella. She lived with her father, a wealthy merchant, who remarried to provide her with a mother and sisters. Her new stepmother brought two daughters, Drizella and Anastasia, who were as unpleasant and selfish as their mother. When Cinderella's father fell ill and passed away, her stepmother revealed her true nature. She turned Cinderella into a servant in her own home, forcing her to wear rags, sleep in the attic, and do all the household chores. Despite the cruel treatment, Cinderella remained kind and gentle, finding comfort in her animal friends. One day, news spread that the king was hosting a grand ball for the prince, who was of marrying age. All eligible young women in the kingdom were invited, and Cinderella dreamed of attending. However, her stepmother and stepsisters, driven by envy, forbade her from going and gave her a long list of chores to ensure she wouldn't have time to prepare. Determined, Cinderella found an old gown of her mother's and mended it with the help of her animal friends. When her stepmother and stepsisters saw her in the beautiful gown, they tore it to shreds, leaving Cinderella in tears. Despairing, she fled to the garden, where her fairy godmother appeared. With a wave of her wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a carriage, mice into horses, and Cinderella's rags into a stunning ball gown with glass slippers. She warned Cinderella that the spell would only last until midnight. At the ball, Cinderella dazzled everyone, including the prince. They spent the evening dancing and talking. As the clock struck midnight, Cinderella fled the palace, leaving behind one of her glass slippers. The prince, determined to find the girl who had captured his heart, searched the kingdom with the slipper. He declared he would marry the girl whose foot fit the slipper perfectly. When the prince arrived at Cinderella's home, her stepsisters tried on the slipper, but it didn't fit. Cinderella's stepmother locked her in the attic to prevent her from trying on the slipper. With the help of her animal friends, Cinderella escaped and presented herself to the prince. The slipper fit perfectly, and the prince recognized her as the girl from the ball. Overjoyed, he proposed, and Cinderella accepted. Cinderella and the prince were married in a grand ceremony attended by the entire kingdom. Her stepmother and stepsisters were astonished and humiliated by this turn of events. Cinderella, showing her kind heart, forgave them but chose to distance herself from their toxic influence. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and wisdom. Cinderella's story became a beacon of hope, proving that kindness, resilience, and a bit of magic could overcome even the most difficult circumstances. And so, the tale of Cinderella, the girl who went from rags to royalty, was told for generations, inspiring countless others to believe in their dreams and the power of kindness. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was an enchanted kingdom named Lemuria. Lemuria was known for its lush green forests, sparkling blue lakes, and the majestic Mount Aurelia, which stood tall and proud at the center of the kingdom. The land was ruled by King Alaric and Queen Seraphina, who were beloved by their subjects for their wisdom, kindness, and fairness. They had a daughter, Princess Alara, who was as beautiful as she was brave. Princess Alara was not like the typical princesses of her time. While she loved her beautiful gowns and the grand balls at the palace, she also had a deep sense of adventure and a curiosity that often led her into the wildest parts of the kingdom. She spent her days exploring the forests, talking to animals, and learning about the plants and the magic that flowed through Lemuria. One fine spring morning, as the birds sang their cheerful songs and the flowers bloomed in vibrant colors, Princess Alara woke up with an unusual feeling. She felt a calling deep within her heart, urging her to visit the ancient temple of Aldoria, a mystical place known only to a few. Legend had it that the temple was built by the first wizards of Lemuria and held secrets that could change the fate of the kingdom. With a determined heart, Alara set off on her trusted horse, Luna, a magnificent white steed with a silver mane. She wore her favorite emerald green riding cloak and carried a small satchel filled with essentials. As she rode through the forest, she felt a sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that this journey would be unlike any she had ever taken. After hours of riding through the dense forest, Alara arrived at the foot of Mount Aurelia. The path to the Temple of Eldoria was steep and treacherous, but she was not deterred. She tied Luna to a sturdy tree and began her ascent. The climb was challenging, but Alara's determination and courage saw her through. As she reached the temple, she was awestruck by its grandeur. The temple was made of ancient stone, with intricate carvings that told stories of the past. The entrance was guarded by two giant statues of griffins, their eyes seemingly watching her every move. Taking a deep breath, Ilara stepped inside. The air inside the temple was cool and filled with the scent of ancient incense. As she walked through the dimly lit corridors, she felt a presence, as if the spirits of the wizards were watching her. She finally arrived at the inner sanctum, where a large, ornate pedestal stood. On the pedestal lay a glowing crystal, radiating a warm, golden light. Alara approached the crystal cautiously. As she touched it, she felt a surge of energy flow through her. In an instant, she was transported to a vision. She saw her kingdom, Lemuria, but it was not the peaceful and prosperous land she knew. Instead, it was under threat from a dark force that sought to engulf it in shadow. In the vision, she saw a powerful sorceress named Morgothra, who had been banished from Lemuria centuries ago. Morgothra had discovered a way to return and was amassing an army to conquer the kingdom. The vision showed Alara that the only way to stop Morgothra was to find the three lost relics of the ancients: the Sword of Light, the Shield of Hope, and the Amulet of Truth. As the vision faded, Alara knew what she had to do. She had to find the relics and stop Morgothra before it was too late. She also realized that she could not do it alone. She needed the help of her friends and the wisdom of her parents. With renewed determination, she made her way back to the palace. Back at the palace, Alara shared her vision with her parents. King Alaric and Queen Seraphina listened intently and knew that their daughter's vision was true. They called for the kingdom's bravest knights and wisest scholars to assist Alara in her quest. Among them were Sir Cedric, a loyal knight who had served the kingdom for years, and Lady Isabella, a scholar with vast knowledge of Lemuria's history and magic. Together, they formed a plan. They would split into three groups, each searching for one of the relics. Alara, accompanied by Sir Cedric and Lady Isabella, would search for the Sword of Light, which was said to be hidden in the crystal caves of Lumina. The journey to the crystal caves was long and perilous. They traveled through dense forests, crossed raging rivers, and climbed steep mountains. Along the way, they faced numerous challenges, including wild beasts and treacherous terrain. However, their determination and teamwork saw them through. Finally, they arrived at the entrance to the Crystal Caves. The entrance was guarded by a fierce dragon named Drakthar. The dragon was known to be a guardian of the cave and would only allow those with pure hearts to enter. Alara, Sir Cedric, and Lady Isabella approached the dragon with respect and courage. Alara spoke to Drakthar, explaining their quest and the threat to the kingdom. The dragon, sensing the sincerity and purity of their hearts, allowed them to enter the cave. Inside, they found the Sword of Light, its blade glowing with a radiant light that seemed to banish the darkness around them. With the Sword of Light in hand, they returned to the palace, where they were met with great celebration. The other groups also returned successfully, having found the Shield of Hope and the Amulet of Truth. With the three relics, they were ready to face Morgothra. The final battle took place on the plains of Aldoria. Morgothra, with her dark army, met the forces of Lemuria led by Princess Alara. The battle was fierce and seemed to last an eternity. However, with the power of the relics and the courage of the people of Lemuria, they managed to defeat Morgothra and banish her once again. Peace returned to Lemuria, and Princess Alara was hailed as a hero. She continued to explore the kingdom, always ready for new adventures and challenges. Her bravery and determination became a legend, inspiring generations to come. And so, the enchanted kingdom of Lemuria continued to thrive, with its people living in harmony and prosperity, guided by the wisdom and courage of their beloved Princess Alara.